What I like about Mr. Nesbitt's class is that he used to tell us all different stories from his past and what he did before, and they're all funny.
He was always calm and understanding towards every single one of his students.
What I loved about Mr. Nesbitt was that he was always a problem solver. Every time you have a problem, he would find some way to fix it. Like one time we were working on this mousetrap cart. He didn't like my drawing, so he came up with a way to make it better.
My favorite memory of Mr. Nesbitt is when he taught me how to use the 3D printers. It was a lot of fun making stuff. The last thing I got to do was a little 3D hexagon thing. It was just a lot of fun, and he told us great stories. I'll always miss him.
We will always miss Mr. Nesbitt because if we ever had a problem, we were ever upset, he understood and always talked to us calmly.
Mr. Nesbitt was always there for me whenever I had a problem, no matter what. He was always there to help me through it.
I will always remember how Mr. Nesbitt took his class very seriously.
I'd like to thank Mr. Nesbitt for taking the time out to play basketball with me almost every single day and helping me build things out of 3D printer. In fact, there was one thing like my dad's Father's Day gift, which was a phone case.
I would like to thank Mr. Nesbitt for letting me feel welcome all the time and letting me hang out. He taught me how to use a 3D printer, and he even printed me a chicken and helped me make an earbud holder. And he was the nicest teacher I've ever known.
I'd like to really thank Mr. Nesbitt for teaching me how to be creative with my ideas, and without that help, I couldn't do a lot of the stuff that I've done today.
Well, Mr. Nesbitt was always the coolest teacher here. He's like one of those people that you can't ever forget about. He was so friendly all the time. He was friends with everyone. He was always, even people that didn't know him, he was still friends with. That's how cool he was.
So I'd like to thank Mr. Nesbitt for teaching me how to use the 3D printer. It's just fun to do. It's complicated, but it's really cool. And he's one of the best teachers I've ever had. He's the funnest teacher, the coolest teacher. He's one of those guys that he's kind of chill and relaxed as you go on. He just lets you be who you are, and he helps you out along the way.
I think Mr. Nesbitt was a really great guy. I recall last year when he taught us how to do 3D printing on Inventor. We didn't do AutoCAD because there was this glitch, but I made like this cube and I added a mustache and eyes to it, but we were going to add a top hat, but the quarter ended. But otherwise, I think he was a great guy. He was really fun, especially getting to go into the workshop.
I would like to thank Mr. Nesbitt for being my teacher, and that we did so much projects, and my favorite one was probably the skimmers.
I'd like to thank Mr. Nesbitt because he taught me and my class how to use like all the cool like sander and like the push sticks that would make like cool stuff like a push stick for my parents, and they loved it, and I want to thank him for that.
I would like to thank Mr. Nesbitt because he was always a great guy. Even though I didn't know him that much because I didn't have his class last year, he was still like my favorite teacher out of all my teachers.
I knew Mr. Nesbitt from last year. I visit him almost every day, and we built wooden cars with check-in, and we raced them.
I am Carlos, and Mr. Nesbitt was a cool teacher. He explained stuff to me that I didn't understand.
So, hi, I'm Jackson, and I think that Mr. Nesbitt's class was a really cool class because it was all hands-on, and it wasn't just writing and writing. It was actually, you could get into the material and do something that you really liked.
I remember the times when Mr. Nesbitt would tell us stories that were really funny and taught us things.
Mr. Nesbitt was a cool teacher because when I did something wrong, he corrected me and told me to do it right, and he never got mad at me. He just stayed chill.
I like Mr. Nesbitt because he was a cool teacher, and he made warm-ups and stuff fun. Like the time when he put on the board, it was name an animal you would have and what tricks and what superpowers would it have, and that was really fun.
I was in the soapbox derby, and I remember Mr. Nesbitt was really fun and was always willing to help any of us, and always had such great ideas, and we miss him.
Thank you, Mr. Nesbitt, for being patient with me all the time. There's this one time where there was this question I asked, and it had an obvious answer, but you had me figure it out, and you were patient, and I just appreciate that. Thank you.
Hi, so I just want to say Mr. Nesbitt was the greatest teacher ever. He was a good friend, and I don't know what to say. I mean, I got heartbroken when I found out what happened. He was just a really great friend. I could come down to his class every Monday for TSA, and he'd always let me come in and do some stuff with him, and I could just come and talk to him whenever I needed something, and he always knew what to say.